Good morning, party people and friends over at Weightless. This is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami. Happy Friday. More than that, happy Super Bowl Friday. My city, Minneapolis, is hosting the Super Bowl this year, so very exciting. We just went to the grocery store, my daughter and I, and saw a bunch of football-themed things, and I'm sure you're planning out your party, goods and snacks. So happy Friday, happy Super Bowl weekend, happy everything for you today. Something has been coming up lately for me, and I'm getting very excited because I'm presenting a lunch and learn presentation in downtown called Movement Maximizers. And it's come to my attention lately that a lot of people are like, yeah, I just need a Fitbit and I'm going to get fit. So today's presentation is going to talk about, today's live is going to talk all about Fitbits and whether they make you fit, because that's the purpose of them, right? I mean, they serve a purpose. So if you're joining me live or if you're watching the replay, make sure to say hi in the comments so I can say hi back. And if you have not liked my page yet, be Weightless. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you click on, see notifications, those sorts of things, because otherwise Facebook will not let you see more of this wonderful content. So again, my name is Jenn, and I'm a health coach who is completely product-free and specializes in gym-free fitness. I'm also a motivational speaker and presenter. So I mentioned that I have a presentation today called Movement Maximizers. If you would like the handout from that presentation, just let me know in the comments, say, give me the handout, and I will send it over to you. I won't require you to opt into anything or anything. I'll just send it to you as a free resource. But I'll be kind of diving into those topics a little bit today about when we talk about Fitbits. So before we get started with the content around, do Fitbits actually make you fit? I'd like to know, do you own or use a Fitbit? Make sure to weigh in below this video. Hi, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to say hi. So if you wear a Fitbit, here's what I'm noticing. And I want to throw it out there because I'm all about, the elephant in the room and telling it like it is. I don't own a Fitbit, and I never have. But there's a big trend these days with combining technology and fitness. And this is a little disconcerting to me as a health coach, even someone who specializes in gym-free fitness, because I feel like we're replacing one type of box thinking in terms of our body to another type. And this type just happens to be technology oriented. I'm all about technology. There are sometimes it's used very well, but we're going to talk a little bit about the purpose of a Fitbit and whether it's serving you where you need to be. So I'm noticing that a lot of people who do end up with a Fitbit are of a certain age. That's not a particular age, but if you have one, please let me know your approximate age if you feel comfortable sharing that information and help me conduct my market research on this. But what I'm noticing is people, maybe in their 30s or 40s, 50s and 60s are the ones who tend to get Fitbits or be interested in Fitbits. I notice there are a lot of moms who do it, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or not. I notice that there are a lot of office workers who are interested in Fitbits. Maybe it was on the Christmas list the past year. Or people who live a sedentary lifestyle. By sedentary, I mean people who sit in an office, who sit and work at a computer all day long, because that does describe the majority of people these days, and it's really hard, right? It's really hard to get up on your feet when you sit at a desk and you sit at a computer. I spend a lot of my days sitting, usually in the car when I'm driving to and from places. So I'm noticing a trend there, not just to combine technology with fitness, but also people who are in certain environments or circumstances or even age groups who tend to gravitate towards Fitbit. Now, because I don't personally have a Fitbit, I can't necessarily speak to the features of it, but based on what I know about the features, it can measure everything. It can measure your activity level, it can measure your quality of sleep, it can tell you your heart rate, it can tell you some certain other things depending on what level of Fitbit you have, or Garmin. I know Garmin is another word for it as well. Basically, it gives you a bunch of data. Now, let me tell you something. When was the last time you achieved great things because you collected a bunch of data? Yesterday? The week before? Never? Here's the challenge, especially when we're talking about health and our resolutions to get fit, which is, by the way, consistently in the top 5 of all resolutions over time, is to get fit. You don't get fit by collecting data. Throwing it out there, folks. I'm just throwing it out there. You don't get fit by collecting more data. Yes, the Fitbit is an amazing awareness tool. So if you already recognize you're a sedentary person, you sit down a lot, then the Fitbit can be a good way to shake you up and recognize what your current baseline habits are. And by the way, I talk a lot about baseline habits because that's what I help people with. I help people figure out what their current habits are, their baseline habits or foundational habits, and I help them discover new ways to challenge those habits and change them or replace them with something that supports their goals. So I love habits. I love talking about habits, but basically the Fitbit is kind of like a journal of your fitness habits. But that's interesting because it doesn't give you all of your fitness habits. It can't tell you how much body fat you have. It can't tell you how much muscle you carry in your body. It can't tell you how many calories you tend to burn based on your basal metabolic rate, BMR. It stands for BMR is basal metabolic rate. As far as I know, unless you get with the super slinky expensive version of a Fitbit, it cannot tell you that. It cannot tell you how many calories you burn when you're resting. It cannot tell you whether you get out of breath when you climb up a flight of stairs, right? It's counting certain information about you, and I'm sure you can plug in your identifying weight and height and all that good stuff, and it'll give you a little more complicated information. But again, nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever achieved amazing things in their life because they got all the data. Usually when you take the data, you have to do something with it before you can get good or you can improve what's going on. And by the way, I'm a data nerd, so I'm speaking from a data nerd perspective. I always do my research. I always figure out where I'm starting out and where I need to be. But I can also get lost in data. For example, I used to subscribe to Oxygen magazine, which is all about building muscle, fat loss. It's kind of for bodybuilding women. So if you see the woman on the cover of that kind of magazine, she's awesome. She's ripped. She's got rippling muscles without even trying. She is a wonderful, strong woman. That's the kind of model I was taking for my fitness. And every magazine that I ordered, and I got it on a monthly subscription, it had a fitness routine in it. That's more information. I gathered more really good information, targeting different parts of your body, targeting different techniques, whether you're beginner, advanced, intermediate, what have you. It was all very good information. That doesn't mean I implemented a single piece of it. Now, some people are like, well, the Fitbit, the purpose of the Fitbit is to get you not just aware of what you're currently doing, but it's also to push you and remind you and notify you of when you need to do something. That's fantastic. And if that's what you're using your Fitbit for, kudos to you, because that's fantastic. That's a quasi accountability partner for you, right? It's reminding you, maybe it pops up an alarm. It's telling you you didn't reach your steps. Here's what you can do to reach your steps in the next 10 minutes. I mean, it's great information, right? You want someone to kind of kick you in the pants once in a while. And the Fitbit could be a source of that for you. It could be. That doesn't mean it's the best thing for all of us. And here's what I mean. So for example, if I sit down and I have a nice meal and someone brings dessert out at the end of it, maybe it wasn't in my plan or my goal for myself to eat that dessert, but if that dessert's right in front of me, I may or may not decide to eat it. Someone could even sit at the table and my husband could remind me and say, oh, by the way, I thought you weren't eating desserts anymore. Or I thought you weren't eating ice cream anymore. He doesn't do that. But if he was my reminder or my accountability partner, or he pops up and kicks me in the pants from time to time, I may or may not pay attention at that very moment to what's being told to me. The decisions we make in the moment are usually not the most important and best choices for us. There's a lot of research that's been done on this, not just in the health sphere, but in all sorts of other spheres in terms of financial planning. Like we have options, right, to invest in ourselves, to invest in our retirement from the time we start a job. And the majority of us don't do it unless we're forced to do it. So again, the decisions we make in the moment, while it's good to have that reminder, it's good to have that, hey, did you remember to do this? It's not a guarantee that you're going to follow through, especially when you're in the moment. I mean, there are plenty of times when this has probably come true for you, right? Like maybe there was a snowstorm and you're like, well, I was supposed to walk and get my steps in and I really wanted to do it outside and I've got my reminder on my Fitbit telling me to do it. I'm just going to cuddle in my blankets and feel cozy and warm and comfortable. You know, all of us are prone to that type of behavior, right? Like we're at the moment where we make that decision and maybe it's a day, it's a time, it's a mood, but no matter what the situation is, we could decide to not follow through, regardless of what reminders are there, regardless of what things are telling us. And by the way, technology is great, but it doesn't really put any emotional baggage on us, right? I'm not suggesting that we should have emotional baggage. But, you know, a beep on your clock or on your watch is not necessarily going to make you feel like, oh, yeah, that's right. This was really important to me. You may not be having that conversation in your head when that reminder comes up for you. So, you know, it's great for creating awareness. That awareness has limits. It's also great for creating those reminders and that quasi accountability, but it's not the full spectrum. And the choices we make, even when we get reminders, are not necessarily the ones that best serve us. Now let's talk a little bit about Fitbit. So the purpose of it and what type of activity it's measuring and whether that can actually help you get fit. Before we get into that discussion, we have to understand what fit means. And this is going to vary depending on who is coming up in the conversation and what your personal perspective is on fitness. So I am not a personal trainer, but I consider myself to be a fit person. I'm an active person. I was a track star in elementary school. I was a volleyball player in junior high, despite the fact that I was 80, 90 pounds overweight. I was morbidly obese for a time, but I was biking and walking everywhere on my college campus. I was always an active kid. Now, as a nearly, getting closer to 40, I am still fit because I work out 3 to 4 times a week, very intense exercises with weight-bearing resistance training. I do really good with exercise. It's just something that comes easy to me. I consider myself fit. If you're a person who's starting from square one, you never get off your butt, your tuchus, or when you do, it's to go to the bathroom or it's to grab a snack from the kitchen or it's to chat with someone, you know, you might be in a different place. Fitness to you might be the fact that you can get up a flight of stairs without losing your breath, or you could not have so many aches and pains when you wake up in the morning, or you don't have text neck, you know, that thing where you're bending down over your phone and it puts pressure on your neck. I have a lot of chiropractor friends who talk about that. So again, fitness is a spectrum, just like health is a spectrum. But when I say fit, I don't just mean that like you're meeting the minimum requirements. A Fitbit tells you how to meet the minimum requirements. And yes, I understand that you can program it in such a way that you can up level, which is great. Most people I know of do not up level themselves. It's hard to do, right? Because you get comfortable and you want to stay comfortable. Very few of us are willing to challenge ourselves, whether it's because we have fear around that or because we don't want to fail. There are lots of reasons why we don't like to challenge ourselves. But unless we, as our own personal coach, tell the Fitbit what our next up level is, the Fitbit doesn't know that, and the Fitbit is not going to automatically do that for you. So it's limited in its capacity to measure your fitness. You're telling it what to do, right? And unless you change that progressively as you get fitter, you're not going to become more fit. Let me know if that makes sense to you below in the comments if you're watching this video. Another thing is, like I said in the beginning, the Fitbit measures certain things. It measures how often you take a step. It measures your activity level. It measures potentially how many calories you're burning and those sorts of things. The purpose of life is not to burn calories. The purpose of exercise is not to burn calories or to cancel out whatever you ate. That is not the purpose of fitness. And I will take that to the bank and I will step on my stool over here and say that is not the purpose of being fit. Unless you're an athlete, you have maybe that's your livelihood and your purpose to being fit is to keep your job up. Most of us are not professional athletes. So our purpose in being fit is to live life to the fullest. Whether you're an adventure seeker or not, there are certain things in life you need to do, you want to do. You can't do that and reach those awesome goals using a Fitbit. It won't challenge you to that extent. It won't get you there. The Fitbit does not measure your muscle, does not measure your fat, does not measure your body composition. Fitness is a matter of, you know, do you have enough muscle to support your structures? Do you, does your body use oxygen and respiration in an efficient manner? Are you able to accomplish what you need to do without losing your breath or having a challenge from soreness and aches? That's what fitness means to me. And your Fitbit can't get you there. It can help start you on the path. It's a great awareness tool. It's a great reach a certain goal that maybe you haven't yet reached, but it's not going to get you to the ultimate level of fitness. What will, and by the way, comment below this video if you want the resource I provide to my audiences when I present movement maximizers. The Fitbit does not maximize your movement. I help people figure that out for themselves and develop plans so they can get there without going to the gym, without getting a lot of tools or expensive things. You can do it in your home, you can do it in your office. I'm presenting to an office today, so they will find out everything they need to know. But if you're interested in this resource, this handout that I provide at this presentation, comment below and I will send it to you completely free, my gift to you. I want you to get fit. Without a tool, you can be your own tool. You're your own best tool, by the way. You have to believe in that. You are your own best tool. You don't need anything else. You have everything you need right here, right now to get fit. So let me know if you want that resource. So today I'm talking about how to maximize movement in my presentation. A Fitbit does not help you get there. How you get there is by constantly challenging yourself through a combination of getting out of breath, getting sweaty, and getting sore. Those are the three ways you can get fit, because all of those three things challenge your cardiovascular, your strength training, and your body's ability to cool you down when you're really working hard. So that's how you get fit. If you don't do those three things on a regular basis, and I'm not even going to go into how many minutes per day, that's ridiculous. But if you're not doing one of those three things on a consistent basis, then you're not going to get fit. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm keeping it super basic and super simple because that's how I roll. You don't need to get super complicated. You don't need more information about this assessment, this tool, this technology. You don't need that crap. That is going to stray. It's going to take away your focus from what really matters, which is taking action. So again, that's my prescription, if you will, for how to get fit, regardless of whether you use a Fitbit or not, is to get sweaty, get breathless, and get sore. Not necessarily in that order. You can switch it up. You can switch up the order. Again, this is just my little toadstool. That's not the right word. This is my perspective on how to get fit. It's not through a technology or a tool or a Fitbit or a Garmin or any of those wearable devices. You get fit through understanding where you are today, where you want to go in the future, and then challenging yourself. And you do that through getting sweaty, getting sore, and getting out of breath. Share with me below there which one you're more likely to do, the get sweaty, the get sore, or get out of breath. I do a type of workout that actually does all three, and it challenges me, and there are days I hate it. If you don't hate the kind of workout you're doing, then you're probably not challenging yourself, right? That's a good barometer for whether it's the right workout to get you fit. You have to hate it at some point because that's how it works, right? That's how you confuse your body. That's how you challenge your body to get to the next level, is to do something that makes you uncomfortable and do something that is something you've never done before. You can't change unless you do that. I'm going to wrap it up now because I have to get ready for my presentation. This is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami talking to you about whether Fitbits make you fit. And if you wear a Fitbit, please share below this video if you're watching the replay, whether you have one and your age, if you feel comfortable sharing that information. And lastly, if you want that free resource I'm sharing on how to really get fit, regardless of whether you use a Fitbit or not, then go ahead and comment below here and say, give me the resource. and I will send it to you completely free of charge, my gift to you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for committing to your fitness in 2018. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.